Right, let's talk football with my boys. Hopefully this is going to work. Yes, all four of you are there, looking gorgeous. Great touches back, baby. How are we feeling?
Good to be back.
What we're going to do is basically going to preview the start of the season, look at the Premier League table, look at our predictions, and generally just have a chat. We've put it off long enough. We're going to have to show you our predictions at the start of the season. Let's start with the bottom, the bottom half. All right. My bottom three were Sheffield United, Newcastle United, and Palace. And guys, in the chat, get your questions in, get your thoughts in. We'll make sure we keep reading them out. The guys are looking at the chat as we're talking, and get your predictions in as we talk about it. And actually, tell us who you actually thought the bottom three were going to be at the start of the season. Because as embarrassing as it is, I think the bulk of people were saying that Sheffield United were going to be down there. And to a man, actually, Craig's the only one who didn't put them in the bottom three. I mean, 17th. But how did you know, Craig, they were going to have the season they were going to have?
Well, I didn't have a clue, did I? I just had to put them somewhere. I didn't think they'd go down. I did think there was something a little bit... I don't know. I did get a sense of unity with the squad when they went up, and I thought they might be able to compete a bit more than people give them credit for. That was pretty much it. I just felt there was a good sort of togetherness with Sheffield United, and that was it. That was the sole reason I've got them out of the bottom three. But other than that, it's luck, isn't it? To be honest, I don't have a clue. That is a lucky punt.
Well,
That's on the way near, though, aren't I?
I've just seen in the comments here, Shandy, who we talk to regularly on the Football Manager series. He says we Newcastle can still go down. And now here's something. Dom, I want to know your thoughts on this. I stuck £1 on us to go down this morning. What do you think? What's your reaction to that? Is that allowed as a football fan?
What are the odds on that? What were the odds?
Enough.
I don't know.
Funny enough, when you're reading the table at the start and you say Newcastle have to be pleased with that, the first thing that came into my mind is that they're not safe because there's only 8 points in it, and there's 9 games to go, so you never know. You can still get dragged into it.
But you're right.
Well, it's a hedge bet, isn't it?
So 35 points they're on at the moment. 27 is 18th, 17th, and 16th. West Ham, Watford, and Bournemouth. So yeah, they are still in
You don't know what's going to happen. The thing isn't in the Bundesliga. I think it's only like 1 in 5 games is a home win. Whereas before, I think it's normally like 2 in 5. I think it was like 40% down to 20 something. As you think about, I think we all, apart from you, Allcott, had Norwich going down. At 21 points, do we think they're gone? They're 7 points adrift.
Probably.
They need to start really, really, really well because their fixtures are okay. The fixtures are okay. I'm just getting it up now. The fixtures aren't awful, but they need to start well because I think there's some tough games in the middle of it all. But I mean, to be honest, you're asking for a miracle, aren't you? But I guess having 3 months off is probably, if you'd said to them, here's a situation for you, you're not definitely going to stay up, but this might give you a chance of staying up. Would you go for it? I think Norwich would actually weirdly take this situation, wouldn't they?
100%. I think it just allows them to reset, reflect a little bit, and I think that weirdly now, the way you've explained that, they're probably the team that might benefit from this the most. I just think deep down a lot of that squad's morale would have been like low anyway, and they'll be a bit like, fuck it, let's just go out there and just give it everything now. We've had this random little break in the middle of the season. Yeah, and they started the season very strongly. Well, not very strongly, but they certainly had a good go at the start. They beat Man City, didn't they? Pukki got off to a good start. So maybe if they can replicate that the start of the season form in this new start of the season, whatever this is, you might be able to kind of spring a little surprise, or at least compete anyway.
They also had a lot of injuries. I'm going to show you the fixtures now, so I don't know if you are able to play the stream or not. But even if you just play it for a second, you'll be able to see. I can read it through. Southampton's first 2 games for Norwich: Southampton, then Everton. Then they've got Arsenal away, then Brighton and Hove Albion at home, Watford away, West Ham United at home. So 3 teams there in that middle bunch. The last 3 games, not great. Chelsea, Burnley, and then Man City away for the last game. I think they might give it a go. And Rob Turner's just said there, Pukki's form will be key. I think Buendia's form is going to be crucial as well. He's the player that everyone is talking about. Certainly the guys that kind of keep an eye on those stats and see his kind of contributions. He will go to a top 10 club, absolutely, in the summer, regardless of what happens to Norwich. But they've got a chance. I can't see it happening myself.
Outside, they've got to win 5 games at least.
Yeah. I mean, you like to say they got a very favourable start, but Erwin's point, 5 games, now they're fucked, aren't they?
Yeah, they've got, like you say, they've got to win 2 more games than anyone else just to get level pegging, and then they've already got 10 goals in terms of goal difference behind, so that I think they're gone. Aston Villa, second bottom.
We're discussing for a bit, but they're gone.
Yeah. We've given you 5 minutes. Now go away. Aston Villa. What do you think of Aston Villa this season? Because there's elements that people like. I think they're kind of quite likeable this season, which I'm not sure they've always been. But they, 25 points. I'll get their fixtures up as well. I think they've got quite a tricky run. They've got a horrible run of games.
They've struggled for goals all season, haven't they? I think that's been the thing.
Yeah. Massively over-reliant on Grealish. I think
they've got a game in hand. They're playing Sheffield United on Wednesday, aren't they? The first game.
Big game.
They win that. They're up to 16th straight away.
Does everyone think that Aston Villa are the second team or the team that are going to finish second bottom?
I've seen Bournemouth play and struggle a few times. And then play, I think, as against away. Couple of home games, albeit against big clubs, I saw them struggle a little bit, and they don't look like the same side as they were in recent years. I think that I've always been really impressed with Bournemouth, and because they're very much like the same size as Brentford. I think that they're gonna finish second bottom. If I'm honest, I do think they're gonna struggle.
Well, I've got their fixtures in front of me. Their fixtures are interesting because they've got a lot of people around them. So, I mean, actually, that's a massive lie, actually. That's a huge lie. Crystal Palace, Wolves will be... I mean, Wolves are right up there in terms of going for Champions League, which we'll get onto in a minute. But Wolves away as well is a tough game. Newcastle at home. I think, to be honest, if you're looking to stay up, Crystal Palace at home, Newcastle at home, you should be getting 6 points from that. Then they've got Man United away. Tough. Then it's a really tough set of 4 games. Man United, Tottenham, Leicester, Man City. Finishing off with Southampton and Everton. David Brooks is back, who was quite integral for them last season. But something has been different, hasn't it? Something hasn't been right.
Yeah.
It with Bournemouth, it plays on the idea for me that I don't see that kind of the organisation that's needed to stay up. And the way they're going to do it is by scoring goals. And maybe David Brooks unlocks that, but I get what you mean. Like, I think in terms of a bottom 3, Bournemouth and West Ham are the third one. I think Villa will go down, personally. I think Norwich will go down. And I think West Ham's fixtures and the pressure on West Ham, this is the problem. Teams like West Ham and Newcastle, there's a reason why they go up and go down. Because it's not just about the squads that they've got and the money that they spend. It's the pressure they end up putting on themselves by having quite large fan bases and getting quite a lot of media attention. And they never get media attention for the right reasons. They only really get it for the wrong reasons. And that's why, again, how many times have we seen Newcastle down there when they shouldn't have been, probably, prior to this recent era? Or West Ham alone. West Ham, time and again, with the money that they've spent. And they're in there again. Wolves, they've got Wolves, Spurs, Chelsea, then set of 4 games. But see, this is my problem. If they lose to Wolves, Tottenham, and then Chelsea, they are right in the absolute thick of it. Before
second bottom.
And then Newcastle and Burnley become different games, don't they?
Was it West Ham who were or specifically the owners who were pushing the hardest to have the season postponed? Wasn't it really? They seem to be making the most noise, so I think it'd be quite ironic if they did. Yeah, Karen Brady's kicking off.
Charming Karen Brady.
Mental.
Oh.
And that's it. Like, it's all about context, isn't it? Because if they lose those 3 games, then they go into that Newcastle game, and it's like it is do or die. Instead of being, when you look at it here with a couple of weeks to go, you go, oh, Newcastle, that's a good place, and it's Newcastle away.
Mm.
But they've got Villa last game of the season. That could be amazing.
That is the definition of a crunch game.
Yeah, God.
Everything could be riding on that moment.
Who does everyone want to pick 3?
Is there anyone that we've missed out? Like, so because there's Watford here, there's Brighton in there as well. Do you think those
we haven't said Brighton?
I still think Brighton. I said that at the start. Potter, not a fan, am I?
yeah. Totally.
It's a myth, right, Craig?
It's a myth. It was just a hype he come in with, like he was a good manager. Whoever, I'm sure it's right. I did think it was a big gamble to kind of completely change that style from Houghton to Potter. There's a Brighton fan at work actually speaking to, and he said there's a lot of concern that they're trying to switch too quickly, and there is a real undercurrent of worry that it's going to collapse on itself. So I'm going with Dom's thoughts on Bournemouth. Something's not right down there, and I'm going to stick to my original prediction of Brighton, and then Norwich, of course. Okay,
so sorry, Norwich. So say your 3 again, mate.
So Norwich, Bournemouth, and Brighton.
Norwich, Bournemouth, and Brighton. Okay. I'm just looking at the chat here, guys. Get in your bottom 3 right now. I'll read out a few in a second. DF2209. James, it's because the formation has led to not. I don't know who this team is though. I can't read that out because I don't know who it is. Connor says West Ham will be relegated, I think. Sam the Scrib, West Ham always show up against Spurs though, especially if they can scupper Spurs Champions League prospects. We'll be talking about Champions League in a sec. So that's your bottom 3, Craig. Dom, what's your bottom 3?
I think Norwich and Bournemouth, like I say. I personally think Villa are in trouble, but I'm going to go in a game in hand, and I'm going to say Watford.
Going Watford.
I'm going to go Watford. I think they've got some great players, but I've just got this feeling that they'll be dragged into the mire a little bit. Not just because of the fact they played a game more than Villa, but also because I see their last fixtures as being quite tricky at Arsenal and City and Chelsea, and I just got this feeling that they'll, if they don't win the first game against Leicester, then they'll be on a bit of a downward curve.
Mm. Yeah, their last 2 games are Man City and Arsenal, and the 3 before that, Norwich. I might not be fighting. Newcastle, should probably say for them, but West Ham's their 3rd to last game as well. So yeah, if they get dragged into something, then you might be right. Owen, who's your bottom 3?
I see W2000 just said Nigel Pearson has done quite well. I think he has, and I think they'll be all right just about. Mine, Norwich. I think Bournemouth will come second bottom, and I think West Ham. I think West Ham will lose each of those next 3 games.
Yeah, I'm going with Owen on this one. I don't know what it is about the only thing that the saving grace, the saviour, the Messiah that could be for West Ham United is actually David Moyes, because he might just stop them conceding. Like that could be he could actually be very, very useful to that football club, because if the players are there to keep them up, the fixtures are horrible, the pressure is horrible, and I agree. I think West Ham will end up getting dragged into it. Final day against Aston Villa. We all said Man City were going to win the league. We also actually, I was really jet lagged. I remember this now. I was really jet lagged, which I don't actually want to go on about too much, because there is one shout in there that I'm actually quite happy about. You could make a case that Leicester are there, but I don't think it's that simple. I'd be concerned if I was a Leicester City fan, despite being the person who was like, they're going to have a really cracking season. I saw a sort of tensing of Leicester City in the last. I think they won 2 out of the last 8 or something like that.
I think the last game they won 4-0, didn't they? It felt like a pressure relief game where they kind of they shook off that mid-season blip, and then they kind of pushed through it. Admittedly, that was 3 months ago, and it's a bit irrelevant now, but it was a good performance against Villa.
I think that was the last game before it all, drew to
4-0, and Vardy scored 2, and he'd been in bad form, so that was maybe a good omen for them.
Do you see?
They did lose to Norwich before that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they did, didn't they? Yeah, it was a last-minute moment. Do you think Leicester will be fine then?
I think they will. Yeah, I think they're one of the teams that just haven't got that much pressure in a weird way. I think they'll step up and get over Vardy will come in.
Got Watford next.
I think they've been fantastic. And to be fair, called it, didn't you, Allcott?
Do you know what? I did actually call that one quite passionately. I called that one, which I'm quite pleased about.
Yeah.
I think I was arguing the case for Arsenal, which is at the moment it's gone wrong. But so if you look at goal difference, and goal difference is an okay indicator, you can see that they are up there with Man City, and they do deserve to be the top 3 and 4 in the league and fight for that Champions League space. I think they've got a really nice balance, haven't they?
They do. Do you know Pereira's out though for the rest of the season?
Right back.
Yeah. Do you think that makes a big difference?
He's been very good. So potentially, I mean, I think assist-wise, and he bagged a few as well. I don't know who they've got coming in.
I think James Justin, cracking little player, cracking youngster. He.
Oh, from Luton Town.
I don't know. No, I don't think he was. I think he's a
Luton.
Leicester City.
Stoke tried to sign him.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
right.
He's a good player. Good fullback in here. Yeah.
I think Leicester will. I mean, they've got a cushion of 8 points from 5th.
Yeah.
5th might even get you Champions League. Let's not forget. So they're probably just safe already in terms of they'll make top 4.
Okay, let me ask you a different question then. Will Leicester finish 3rd?
Yeah.
I don't think they will.
I don't think they will. I think Chelsea are going to do very well in this next period.
What was your form like going into this? I was going to say, what was your form? But it says there, doesn't it? Bit inconsistent.
Similar thing. Yeah, similar thing. Yeah. What do you think about Chelsea then, Owen? Going into that? Because I think that 3rd place will be yours.
I still think it's going to be a bit of a battle because there's so many teams that are building up behind. It could be, still even think an outside chance is all the way down to Arsenal, especially if they beat City. You'll be on 43 points and you'll have 5 points between 4th and 9th, which is going to be, 4th and 7 points between 4th and 9th.
Yeah.
I think we got a good young squad. I do think massively now it's all going to come down to, without the crowds and everything, it's going to come down to footballing ability more so than ever. I do think going forward we look great. Defensively we've been poor all season. I have high hopes that we'll hit the ground running.
I think the 5 subs works great for you too, don't you think? Especially with the forward options that you've got.
For the ones who asked for the 9 on the bench as well, so you can pick 5 from 9. I'm optimistic, and before the break, we beat Everton 4-0 at home and absolutely demolished them. And Billy Gilmore was unbelievable. We've got people like Barkley that were putting in a couple of good performances as well. We've got Tammy back from injury. We've got Loftus-Cheek, Kante, Kovacic. I have high hopes.
Early prediction for the next prediction video that we do in the summer, that everyone gets gassed about Chelsea and everyone says that they're going to win the league. And which they might do, but that it's guaranteed because you've got Werner coming in, haven't you? You've got these guys coming in. It's going to be be big. But
do you think there's a danger that obviously you can spend money again now that you might freeze out some of the young players that are coming through, neglect their progress?
I think Frank will be clever with it. He's not just going to go for this long list of names. Forget we're going to be losing. It looks like Willian and Pedro. I'm a big fan of Willian, so you don't necessarily, you wouldn't want to see him go, but if they're building something for the future and replacing him with someone that's 21, then that's 2 wingers that we do need to bring in. So I think they'll be sensible with it. They'll probably only bring in, it'll be Werner and one other. Obviously we've got Ziyech as well coming in, so that's one replacement. We've always needed another forward. Batshuayi's off, hopefully, fingers crossed.
He's terrible, isn't he? He's terrible. What do we think about Manchester United? Because I almost feel like the pandemic's been good to them in a weird way. Like there's been no real dramas there. You got your squad back, Pogba's back, Rashford's back. Fernandes is obviously already there and through the door, but he's not kind of on his own now. And they've got a really nice run of of fixtures in the final run in. Do you think they're the main contender? Obviously, they're in fifth at the moment, but what do you think about Man United? Do you see them actually like really starting to hit the ground? You look at their form in the last few games; they were starting to get somewhere. Fernandes he does have like huge end product for that football club, and if you can get Pogba working properly next to him, you're starting to get something. Or is that just wishful thinking?
I think that's the unknown, isn't it? The Bruno Fernandes and Pogba together is an unknown, but it's exciting because they're both obviously extremely good players. I love Pogba and what we've seen of Fernandes so far is quite exciting if you're a Man United fan. I think that they could be quietly confident and that they could be a better team, as you say, and it's been fortunate for them that there's been a break at this time.
I agree. It's down to Pogba and his attitude. If he's firing and you've got Pogba, you've got Bruno Fernandes, you've got who else plays in the midfield? Matic, Fred.
Yeah,
you've got a good side. You've got Rashford and Martial going forward. They could do some damage. I do see them doing pretty well as well. I expect them to get at least fifth.
I think I agree they'll probably come in with some reasonable form, but I just think Chelsea will be too strong, and I think Leicester too far ahead. I think they've left too much to do.
Yeah, I could get that. I can understand that. I think I think the positive thing for Man United is I always felt it was quite glaring there that you needed that guy to take the pressure who's happy to take the pressure, and that's Bruno Fernandes, because you've got a couple of good soldiers in there. Like Fred's a good good solid little guy who gets it and gives it to a better player. McTominay does the same thing. Matic does the same thing, but you're going to have the guy who gets the job done for you, and Bruno Fernandes is that guy. But if you've got two of those guys, then you start to think, oh, hang on, we've got a pretty exciting team there. And then if you add someone like Rashford, he's on 14 goals or something this season, 19's top for the goal scorer at the moment. I think it's Vardy. Rashford, he's carried that team for a lot of it. He's been unlucky with his injury.
Was he out for the rest of the season before coronavirus hit? Pretty much, wasn't he? So that's a massive boost.
Huge boost. They play Spurs first game. That's going to be a cracking one to watch. I think that's Friday night.
And then that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. And then after that, Sheffield United, Brighton, Hove Albion, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Southampton, Crystal Palace, West Ham, Leicester, all the way to the end. Leicester's pretty tricky there. And I guess it depends how you look at those teams. We've seen it, Dom and all of us have seen it a number of times. Teams down the bottom start doing something pretty special. So that could be the thing that kind of goes, oh God, I thought they were going to. Man United fans are thinking, oh God, I thought we were going to be good here, and now we're not. It might be kind of coming down to those teams that they can't break down. But if they've now got the right kind of bodies in there to break down teams, because defensively they were very strong. It's just been down the other end, being able to break any of these teams down. The last couple of teams that are there knocking about for Champions League, obviously Spurs have got a few players coming back. Wolves are actually next in line and have got a really good run of fixtures. Chelsea last game of the season, but apart from that, all pretty nice fixtures. I guess they got Arsenal actually at one point as well, and then Arsenal themselves who've got a game in hand, and steady fixtures as well. What are your expectations for Arsenal, Dom? Because actually, going back to our predictions, I got hammered for it, but I think I had Arsenal in probably higher than they actually are right now.
I'm 7th.
I had them in 7th. Yeah. Where are they at the moment?
No, I thought you got it spot on. I actually thought that over the course of the season. So. And it was a good call.
Do you expect a strong finish, or do you think... Because there's two ways of looking at this one, where you can go, Arteta's had a bit more time with them now. You'd be able to get the message across. But there's also... You've got a lot of youngsters that they've made a real effort to try and bring through, and they might look to do that. Do you think it depends on how you start in this?
I think that the start is obviously very tricky, and it's even if it wasn't tricky, I think it's difficult to judge it on that. But I think looking at the long-term picture, since Mikel Arteta has taken over, they've covered a lot more ground. I think it's over 2 kilometres a game average more than it was under the last boss. And I think personally, I believe that it'll be next season that Arsenal start to really change. Where that's after a few changes can be made, little tweaks can be made to the squad. I personally believe that the team will finish a lot stronger than it was forming at the beginning of the season, and I can definitely see them challenging for that 5th position Europa League spot.
Yeah, I'd like to see them. I'd like to see it click. I would like to see it click for them. And it was a good run. I think Arsenal are the only team unbeaten in 2020, second most points in the Premier League before it all stopped in this calendar year. Craig, if there were any areas where you thought Arsenal could strengthen, where would you say?
You're asking me? Wrong person. I'd go to Dom if I was you.
No, are there any areas where Arsenal are weak, you say specifically? No, nowhere at all?
They get nerfed, generally strong.
Yeah.
But I put you in the direction of Dom again.
I think Allcott's fishing for the position over the last 10 years, which is...
I think they need a goalkeeper. The goalkeeper's good now. Set you up there, Craig.
Miles off that guy. Miles off that guy.
Fine, really.
Should we do it still?
Craig thought I was trying to dig him out. I wasn't at all.
But I think that defensively there are some things to look forward to as well for Arsenal in terms of the fullbacks as well. Bellerin being back and consistently training, and also Tierney now, who's come into the squad, and he's one that was really exciting, and if he stays injury free, could be a big boost for that Arsenal team.
Yeah. So, at the top of that table, then, who do we see as the guys that are going to get those final Champions League spots? Do you think it'll be as it was, or do you think it's going to be any different? What do you think? In
terms of the top 5, not necessarily in that order, but I think it will be that top 5.
You think it'll be as is?
Spurs will make up some ground, no doubt. The game for Spurs on Friday is huge. Them playing United. If Chelsea, let's say Chelsea win on the weekend, and Man United win on the weekend, they're probably out of it.
Yeah.
And that might even be the case for Arsenal if they lose against Man City. You could immediately wipe it, and then say it's anyone from 7th and above. If Sheffield United beat Villa on Wednesday,
I was going to say that. I just saw them right there in the middle of the table. We just sort of been dodging around them. Is there any way they can do it?
Yeah. Why can't they? I think the squad is going to be the challenge for them.
The loss of momentum's a killer for them, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree. And
the break was probably worse for them.
Yeah, it really was. And for the reasons we explained already, a huge gap with Leicester. Chelsea, Man United are going to kick on. I can see Spurs kicking on. It's not a dig at Sheffield United, but I just think the other squads will really kind of pick up pace now. I think it'll be a real struggle to keep up with them 3, 4 I mentioned.
Yeah.
Wolves will still be there. Wolves will be right.
Well done there.
Yeah, I think my head says that it'll be as is. But I think Chelsea finished 3rd quite comfortably. I think if anything, Leicester would drop out. Man United might get that 4th spot. And again, you've got Son and Kane back. Huh?
We're now swapping round. I think Leicester will finish.
I think Leicester be fine.
Yeah.
I think Pereira is just such a big loss.
They've also got a goal difference, which gives them a point as well.
A goal, yeah, true.